Hello, welcome to yet another episode that you're looking forward to so much. We just know it, we feel it in our bones, in our bodies. So, another episode of the Puzzle Podcast, wherein Isaac and I tackle a difficult business question for no longer than 10 minutes. And no longer than 10 minutes means usually 12 to 13 minutes, depending on
Worst
how
case.
ranty we are by the end. So,
Let's hope that
welcome
let's try.
Yeah,
Let's try
try.
to keep it to 10. Yeah.
We have a stopwatch always, but we probably need to get something analog that just hits.
Yeah.
So we stop on time. Today, the question that Isaac and I came up to after some discussions that both of us found relevant and timely is: are more customers a good thing always? And Isaac, why don't you kick us off with some thoughts, experiences, and let's just go from there. And I'll hit.
Yeah. I will give the weasel word answer. It depends. The MBA answer. I think it depends on, first of all, at the stage of your business. If you are just starting out, if you're an entrepreneur, solopreneur, whatever you want to call it, then in the beginning, more customers is generally a good thing, provided that they are not bad customers, meaning they're not going to screw you over or not pay and so on. For a going concern, my view is that more customers are definitely not always a good thing, because not every customer is the same quality, has the same quality as a customer. Not every customer has the same cost to the business, acquiring, servicing, maintaining the relationship. And it's the same thing, that not every revenue, every, let's say, euro of revenue is like every calorie is a calorie. No, not every euro is a euro, is the same euro, at the end of the day. So I would say that no, it's not always a good thing. If you're a going concern, you want to fire some customers in a way, or not ever have them as customers.
You mentioned something about it depending on basically maturity of the business itself or product life cycle as well. And I agree. To an extent, I think that this was expected with the question we opened. So what I'm thinking is exploring the things professionals listening could take into consideration to figure out, okay, is this a good customer to take on or not? And you touched upon one thing, which I definitely agree with, and that is you have to be aware of your customer acquisition cost. It doesn't matter if you're in a B2C or a B2B sphere. If you want to scale product family within an existing business, or if you want to develop your business that you're just starting, you have to figure out this customer acquisition cost as quickly as possible. That's one thing. And another thing is understanding different types of customers. This is especially important for products that are just being introduced to markets or entrepreneurs starting their companies, because those first customers that you bring on might not be entirely representative of the large segment that you want to be, let's say, winning in the end. And this is a common trap, I would say, even for larger enterprises, where they take on customers and they start doing basically engineer to order, like bespoke solutions, which is okay if you are in the business of providing bespoke solutions. But if you're trying to build a business that revolves around build to stock or make to order, whatever, you might be wasting your time. So it's a bit tricky.
Right. Generally, I would say for a going concern, especially one that keeps evolving and doesn't stay stagnant, because if you stop caring for new customers and new customers served with new products or more products, generally for a business that is not in its growth, where it has to acquire customers at all costs, let's say, fueled through whatever means, you also care about I personally care about the cost of servicing those customers, the amount of hassle I go through to keep serving them. So obviously what you want is customers who you built a relationship with, they trust the solutions you provide, you trust that they are gonna honor the conditions of the sale, whether it is the payment terms, or that they're not malicious, or they're not out there to screw you over with requests after the fact, or to pretend that it's not working because they want some concession, or they don't pester you for discounts more than what they deserve in a way through their transactional profile they've built. So it's not the same. It's not every customer is the same, and you have to take into account exactly also what kind of products are you serving them with, the different risk appetites people have. I mean, a company that has, I used to work for companies in the past where you had a lot of new products being launched, and there was always a tension between the existing customers who are used to buying the same old things and they are solid, but they're not going to give you double-digit growth, and the ones you have to attract in order to make them enthusiastic to buy the latest solution that is more digital, that maybe has a subscription and so on. Those are two different animals in a way. Maybe the first type of customer can be converted, but to change someone's purchasing behavior and preferences is more difficult than to say, hey, you never knew that we have something to offer here. How about you step directly into our new product family? So I believe it is strongly tied to the state of your company. It will sound very fluffy, but it is a matter of strategy in the end. Who do you aim to serve in this stage more? Yes, you want to serve everyone and you try to serve multiple customers, but depending on the phase you're in, you have to be able to serve those who have trusted you because of just playing fair, that's just being a good businessman. Just don't drop them when they don't give you, when they don't buy what you would like them to buy, but you also need to serve those who will be your vehicle of growth. And as we said last time in one of the puzzle episodes, it's not, what do we call it, capital G growth or lowercase growth? Yeah. It's both. It's both. And that is a reflection of that.
Yeah. And to build a little bit on that, there are some very simple practices that are often overlooked. You need to take care of your best customers, and by that, like Isaac, like you said, it's not about bombarding them with discounts, but it's more about being in touch and making sure that you continue understanding their context, their environment, their needs, etc. But another very, very simple practice that you don't need to be some wolf of the Wall Street bullshit salesman is asking your best customers for introductions. Because your best customers know other people like them, other professionals like them. So ask them, hey, you know the value that we provide. Hey, you know our products. Is there someone you could introduce us to who could benefit from our expertise, from our product portfolio, whatever is the question? Because the introduction they make is much more higher quality than, let's say, a cold lead or whatever comes into your sales process, sales machine, etc. And it goes to that: is that a higher quality customer that's worthy of my attention, that's worthy of more attention, etc. So it's a simple but efficient practice.
Yeah.
And when we're talking about types of customers, because you touched upon that as well, it was funny. There was this research, it was inconclusive, but it was still very fun research to read about the specific type of customers, like harbingers of doom. Like if these customers are buying your product, there's a higher probability that your product will not find a larger market segment. It was inconclusive research, so there was no defining characteristics, like, if your customers that are buying product are this and that, then you're doomed to failure. But it was still fun nonetheless, because it does imply that you have, not every customer is a good customer. You have to pay attention. How are they behaving? What are they doing with your product? How are they talking about your product? All of that has to be taken into account. You said it nicely, not every euro is a euro. There are different qualities to money, to revenue, to growth.
It's also a matter of compatibility many times. People want to create something scalable, something that just generates sales. But to really sell things that are, okay, some products they sell themselves, you can do product-led growth, yes, okay, software and so on, okay. But most of the world is not software, de facto, so the most people are not engaged in software, so it's easy to forget that when somebody pays a 4-digit amount or 5-digit amount or 6-digit amount for capital goods, for, I don't know, industrial equipment, for solutions without which things just don't work, and they are more hard, hard tangibles. They have specifications, and there is also the risk of comparison with others in the market. There, if you only write on what you're selling and not how you're selling it and not how you're supporting it and whether it is the right choice from a specification perspective, does it get the job done functionally, then you might get one sale, you might get the second one, but you're not going to get the third one, fourth one. And so every customer who approaches you, if you're in B2B, is a revenue stream. And so my view is that you have to evaluate what the revenue stream is worth it to you, and not only take into account the easy metric, which a friend of mine calls like revenue, is the stupid person's KPI. Of course, if you know your business structure, cost structure wise, you could say, okay, revenue is just a shortcut to say how much money I'm going to make. But you need to evaluate how much you're going to get top line, and also how much distraction this will be from other customers, because you cannot always add resources to scale your sales, and not everything scales the way you'd like to. Because okay, say you added more salespeople and you're in an economy where it's easy to onboard, but very difficult to reduce headcount. What do? You need to take into account the dynamics of the system, and it's not only the system, it's not only the industry, not only the products or suppliers, it's also the context in which you're operating. This is something that people often forget. Not everything can scale at the speed you want it to the degree you want it to. And bombarding, as you say, people with discounts, or another thing, many companies now send newsletters. 15 years ago, sending a newsletter was, wow, you're doing newsletters. Nowadays, you are just one more shouting into the void. New products, I don't care, man. I don't care. I don't have a need. So I'll get in touch if I need something. So it's good to build awareness, but maybe find the balance between what you're doing and what kind of customers you're attracting. You know what I mean? It's always, I'm going to take my megaphone and yell from the rooftop, we have new products for those industries. Buy my products. And people go, oh, yes. Everybody who's going to contact you is a great customer, right? But in reality, you'll get price checkers, cheapskates, bargainers. And what you want to do is find the little peak of customers who you want to build a partnership with. At least that's what I look into it. If somebody approaches me with, hey man, can you give me a discount? Oh, your price is high. Why? Because I have other options. Okay, what options you have? Oh, I cannot tell you. Okay, you're starting off on the wrong foot now.
Yeah, it's partnering with customers, and I'm just looking at the stopwatch. We are out of time, Isaac.
difficult. It's one of my favorite topics, this too, because I live it every day. So it's an important one.
We should return with it with maybe another question, or if listeners, you have something that you want us to dig deeper, what we touched upon. And I just want to, before we sign off, just want to repeat what Isaac said, like revenue as a stupid metric. It's a good metric if you're aware of your business mechanics and everything, but definitely worth considering is time to sale, time to delivery, and time to money. Like all these three are critical for your business, critical for your relationship with customer, and critical for understanding, was this good revenue or customer to take in. It's been a pleasure having you. Not you, Isaac, but the listener. Isaac, yeah, maybe.
It's okay. Bruno, next time, one of the questions, I put it on the table, is what is a good customer? I think that's a big one. And it will not be an easy one. Yeah.
3 times 30. Thank you for listening. Hear you again in the next episode. Take care.
Bye.